Oh, there I am. Okay. Phew. Did I lose y'all? Hope not. Hope you can find me. I did have to switch my network and reload the YouTube site. And I don't know if I lost y'all, but hopefully you'll make your way there. Somebody made their way there. Hi. I'm Kristen. I'm the library director for the Island Free Library. This library, I'm in the Island Free Library, and it is now open. This building is open, which seems awfully strange to say, as it seems we have community cases occurring and, cafes that have been open closing. It seems weird to open on the day that cafes close. But we're feeling okay about it, and we're feeling safe, and you should feel okay about it, and you should feel safe. So that's what I'm going to say for today. Let's hope we all keep moving forward together in a healthy way. It is Wednesday, November 4th. I'm sorry if you missed me yesterday. We were trying to get the building open, and it was a wingding of of a day. It was like one of those, like when you're like doing a project, or you're like moving, or you're like cleaning out something, and it's all going fine, and then it's like the last day, or the last hour, or the last 10 minutes, and it's like totally like much more work than you thought the last day, the last hour, the last 10 minutes was going to be. We had one of those days yesterday. But we made it, and we're here today, and we've had some people in the building, and there's rules and regulations about all of that, and I'll be sending out announcements, but we're just doing like a sort of a soft casual opening today, and we'll be spreading the word soon. And how's everybody out there? It's the day after an election. I think it's no winners have been declared. Local winners have been declared, congressional winners have been declared, senatorial races have been called, but the presidential race continues. And, so that's something new for us to live with as Americans. Hope everybody is breathing through that and taking their time with that. And, let's remember to be kind to each other and understand that it can feel emotional and heated for each other. And, we're all going to be okay. We're just going to keep on keeping on. Drink water, eat vegetables, get sleep, read books, enjoy the sunshine. Wow, we got a nice streak of it, Block Island. Here comes some nice weather. After the mad scrambles for me to get oil, get the furnace going, the furnace guy had to come twice for me this weekend, paying for oil, all of that. After that mad scramble, doors and windows are open today for a little while. They'll be closed again tonight. But I hope you're getting fresh air and getting outside and enjoying that. So this is Frankenstein Tea, a short story program for adult listeners. And I have been doing this program since last March, and I read a short story every day. And I'm going to move the computer a little to make sure you can hear me and see me. And and to make sure, any ghosts that might be behind me are in camera frame. That'd be freaky one day, huh? If we recorded a ghost behind me. Ooh, that's giving me shivers. Good thing it's daylight and bright sunshine and there's people in the building. Ooh. I've been doing this program since March. I don't know what that date was, like March 9th. Now, March 19th is my mom's birthday, but 17th, maybe the 23rd, something like that, right? Mid-March, right? Ides of March. And I have piles of books everywhere. I've shown pictures of you that before, books that I've read from, books that I want to read from, printouts from the internet, stories that I want to get back to, stories that I haven't been to yet. And I had to clean those up because the building is now open. I didn't clean up this pile in this upstairs room. If you're a listener, I've said this before. This room is not open to the public. It's under construction for the window project. But we had to get open, and I had to clean up my mess. So I was putting books away today, and I found this one. One More Thing, Stories and Other Stories by B.J. Novak. And he, you might know him. He's an actor from The Office and a writer. And this had I read some great stories from this that were very fun. And if they were fun and they were also funny kind of stuff, and they were a little lighthearted, and I thought that might be good for today. So I'm going to read B.J. Novak's books, a couple of, maybe one story, maybe two. There's a few things in here I want to read, but I think I'm going to start with one and see where we go. The name of this collection is One More Thing, Stories and Other Stories, B.J. Novak, Alfred A. Knopf, New York, 2014. It's so nice when all that information I have to read is right there on that front page. You know, you've been here before where I've been like, I don't know what the copyright for this story is. I can't say this place, but that was all very nice and clear. All right, so this is B.J. Novak. This one is Monster, the Rollercoaster. The almost legendary artist, Christo, was on the verge of completing a dream that he had held close through his entire career, to design an American roller coaster inspired by nothing less profound than life itself. Life, the ultimate roller coaster. Today was an important one for Christo. It was the day that he and his financiers would observe the reactions of the most consequential people who would ever ride the ride. The 12 persons selected at random for a small focus group. Each member of the focus group took a seat on the wrong side of a wall of one-way glass. Ah, or was it the right side when their opinions mattered so? They were seated along the safely rounded rim of a lacquered oval table, each behind a placard that identified him or her by a bold capital number. Did numbers have capitals? These certainly seemed to be. To Christo, the 12 souls who convened in this dark room on this beautiful day appeared to be a thrillingly, even transcendently average-looking group. But he was careful, even in the privacy of his own mind, not to condescend to them in any way. These 12 were representatives of those whose approval he sought the most. And it would be an unfair and ultimately unsatisfying hedge on his hopes if he were to diminish them now. After all, who better than they to judge an amusement park roller coaster? Who better than they to judge life? All right, everyone, said Tom, the focus group leader. What did people think? I didn't like all the ups and downs, said one. I wanted more ups and downs, said two. Why did the family part at the beginning end so abruptly? Asked three. I hated the family part, said 10. Also, why were there two of them? Asked 4. There was that track that took you out of the family at the beginning, and it was so exciting and sudden, but it lasted 2 seconds and led you right to another part that ended up almost exactly the same as the first one. It wasn't exactly the same, clarified 5, but yeah, it had a lot of the same dynamics. I liked how we kept going in circles, said 8. I actually felt pretty sick from all those loops during the ride, said 1. Me too, said 12. But when you're not right in the middle of it and you just take in all the patterns, it looks really beautiful. Yeah, said 10. When you look back at the end and you see all the people way back at the beginning, looking so small and everything, about to go on those same loops you just went on, that's really cool. You forget that when you were on that part of the ride, you were actually throwing up all over the place. Did people like certain parts of the ride more than others? I thought the first half was more fun, but the second half was more interesting, said 9. Yeah, said 12. Somehow, in the second half, it felt like I was actually driving the car I was in, even though, of course, we were just along for the ride, same as always. Exactly, said 9. Exactly, thought Christo. It got really boring for a long time, said 1, 2, 8, and 10. Should it be shorter? No, shouted 2, 6, 7, 8, 10, 3, 4, 11, and 12. A lot of the time I thought, this should be moving a lot faster, said 11. But then at the end I realized, wow, I can't believe how fast that was. Yeah, great job, man, said 7. I didn't design the ride, Tom reminded the group. I am from an independently hired research company. Thank you, mouthed Christo. I thought about jumping off when it got scary, said 1 softly, but to be heard. That's crazy, said 8, turning to 1. Why would you ever do such a thing? Yeah, agreed 2. It's going to end soon enough anyway. Why not just try to enjoy it? Because it was pointless and I didn't like it. So why not? What about the other people in the car with you? Asked 9. We're supposed to be doing this ride together, or it's not as much fun. Supposed to, exploded 1. Were there rules to this ride that I missed? What do I owe to any of you? Sorry, but I never asked to be on a ride with you. I just showed up and you were here. Who says I have to like it? You liked it, and that's great, but I didn't. So what? Can't you respect that? None of them understood this attitude except 6, who understood but kept it to himself. That doesn't make any sense, said 6. Can we see a picture of the ride? Asked 2, and Tom handed them each the result of a bright flash they all remembered vaguely, now that they were reminded of it, and more vividly each second as the photograph carved its lines into the blur of their memories. The photograph was from the last moment of the first part of the ride, right when the fear of what was going to happen was inseparable from the wonder of what would come next. Everyone who worked on all roller coasters knew that this was the part of the ride where all the best pictures were taken, where everyone looked most foolish and beautiful and fearful and true, and where no one, no matter how brave or wise or vain or camera conscious, can hide a look that reveals that they truly don't know what's going to happen next. See, said 2, look, you enjoyed it. Look at your face. Tears gathered in the corners of 1's eyes as he stared at the picture. That was so long ago, said 1. So much happened after that. What should we call this roller coaster? Asked Tom. Life, said 2. Everyone got quiet. Yeah, life, said 8. Life, agreed 1. Life, said 6. People nodded in silence. Christo, watching behind the glass, nodded. Monster, said 5. Monster? Asked the focus group leader. Yeah, monster. How about the monster? Suggested 10. No, said 5. All caps. Monster. The roller coaster. Monster sounds cool, said 4. No, thought Christo. I like the monster, repeated 10. Me too, said 11. No, 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 thought Christo. I still like life, said 2. Always will. Let's take a vote, said the focus group leader. 5 people raised their hands for monster, 3 for life, 4 for the monster, and one person, one, said he didn't have a preference. Monster it is. Thanks again, and everyone be sure you fill out your paperwork before you leave. Oh, and did everyone get their refreshment discount coupons to the park? Christo was angry, almost beyond the borders of the much surveyed powers of his own comprehension. Monster? He did not spend the last 19 years of his career dreaming that one day he might be remembered primarily as the designer of an amusement park roller coaster ride called Monster, or The Monster, or whatever the hell they were going to call it now. But his dream was dead now, murdered by idiot whims, and there was nothing he could do about it anymore. Oh well, thought Christo, that's life. Appropriate story for the day after Election Day. I like that one. I like this one too. They kept driving faster and outran the rain. He rented a brand new bright yellow Ford Mustang convertible for their 7-day honeymoon in Hawaii. It rained lightly all day, every day, for the first 6 days. It wasn't what they were expecting, but it was beautiful, and they took walks in the mist around the hotel property and looked at the flowers. I love the fauna here at the hotel. Wait, what's fauna? Plants, flowers, right? Right, but flora and fauna. Isn't flora flowers? Then what's fauna? Don't know. Let's look it up later. Okay. On the last day, the rain cleared and they decided to circle the island in the convertible. It was beautiful. But once they got up in the mountains, it started to rain again. Should we put the roof up? Okay, but we'd have to stop to put the roof up. I don't want to stop. I don't want to either. Then they noticed that when they drove faster, the rain was deflected by the windshield and didn't hit them. As it rained harder, they just drove faster. When they came back, they told their friends about the drive they took on their last day and how it ended up being the best day of their whole trip. Their friends insisted that rain didn't work that way. It must have been hitting them. All of them agreed. One friend who taught physics at a university was particularly insistent. He even drew a diagram and wouldn't let them change the subject until they promised and swore that they understood, which they finally did. But no matter what their friends told them, they would always know what really happened. They just kept driving faster and outran the rain. I love these. These are so good. I don't want to read them all because then I won't have one on another day when I need one, but I'm going to read one more. The Beautiful Girl in the Bookstore. She loved the kind of books you could buy in stores that also sold things. Her favorite store, which was only 2 or 3 blocks away from where she and Sophie lived that year, depending on how you walked, was full of books, and it was also full of things. Sometimes in the afternoon, when she and her boyfriend ran out of things to talk about, which was often enough, they went to the bookstore. He looked at the books. She looked at everything. Some of the things that the store had: oversized fashion magazines from the 1940s and 50s, vintage maps from back when states were just scraggly lines, just guesses, railroad spikes that had been made into bottle openers. There was a magnifying glass built out of a knotted clunk of iron with a foggy lens that magically made even the most serious face, her boyfriend's face, for example, evaporate into a vague and bloated and goofy smile that never failed to make her laugh. Things like that. How good does this book smell? She said, pulling a paperback from a shelf, like dust on a bottle of vanilla. She turned it to read the front. Salinger, I love him. $4. Perfect. She always thought how much better the store would look if they arranged the books at least a little bit by color. She only brought this up once, the first time she thought it, because he hated that idea a lot. But sometimes, when no one was looking, she would shuffle one or two books in that direction, and she was right. It did look better that way. You know what would make this store perfect? He said he didn't. A photo booth. He smiled, but said that he didn't agree. In the end, this one wasn't for her. She waited until a morning fog of dishonesty settled over them one day, and she disappeared into it. She loved him, but she never quite got over the suspicion that she was just his favorite thing in the bookstore. Good stories. VJ Novak. One more thing. Stories and other stories. So fun. All right. Thanks for coming. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy the weather. Mask up. This is a funky mask, but I like it. It's soft. I had a hard mask on yesterday, and it really hurt my ears, so I'm trying to be soft to myself today. All right, I got my mask on because I'm going back downstairs. The public is in the building, and as is the staff, and we always wear our masks with each other. And we'll see you tomorrow. Sit tight, chins up, smiles on. Be well. Peace.